Hey everybody, it's BTC Gambler. I am back again with another video. I hope you're well. Listen, I hope you're going to enjoy this one. This is about Alphaverse. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you know what Project Alphaverse is. And if you haven't got a clue what I'm talking about, in the description of this video there will be a link that explains what is Project Alphaverse for the ones that don't know. Okay, I want to show you something really good today because we've had a lot of new members come and join, which is great. So welcome all new members. Always remember, guys, everything about BTC Gambler, Discord and the community and Twitter. Remember, it's us versus them. Us being the players, them being the casino. Trying to find novel and inventive ways just to get a little bit of edge over the casino. And really, that's what Project Alphaverse is all about. And one of the things I would really find disheartening is if new members come on board, they jumped into this 2 feet and lose money. And that is the very, very last thing in the world I want to happen. And I'm, hand on heart, it's not in my interest for you guys to lose money. I want you all to do amazingly well from this. So I'm going to show you something today, and it's going to be starting something new, and it's going to be a community-driven thing. What it is running Alphaverse in simulation, and I'm going to talk you through how we set up Alphaverse to simulate betting rather than actually betting, and I'm going to show you how accurate that's going to be. So this video is going to be broken down into 2 parts. So there'll be just me showing you how to do this, which is probably what 99% of you are interested in, and the second half is actually how I do it, because this was not easy to do. It was very challenging. For the technical people out there like myself, the nerds, would be interested to know how it works. I will cover that in the latter part of the section, but if you're not interested in that, you can just skip it at that stage. So what we're looking at here is my test dev, my UAT environment, where I do all my testing in. Okay, and I've got one account in there. This is Alphaverse 006. I've got a winner CP session open to it. And I will open up a putty session, so give me a second. Okay, I've got a putty session open to that client there, Alphaverse 6. So I've got a number of test clients. We'll probably do 2 just to show you how easy this is. So there's been a secret mode within Alphaverse that I've never really made public, and I've never really declared it to anybody, but I am going to show you today, and this is how we can simulate betting in Alphaverse. And we can do it en masse, okay? And I'm really just going to jump straight into this. Everybody that's obviously got Alphaverse, you will have a client config file, and in that client config file, obviously you're going to put all your server details, username, API key, and such forth for each account, a 2-factor secret. But if you never delve beyond that, you've always had it here, okay? This simulation mode is by default set to false. So if we change that to true, the client index.js file will look for that. And instead of using your balance that's in your casino account, and this account has got nothing in it basically, it will pick up whatever you define here. So a start balance, the total number of bets we're going to run, which in this instance I said 7,200,000 because that represents like a month's worth of running in my mind. And I think if you've got a strategy that can last a month, then that's a pretty good strategy. And then we've got a simulated recovery part, and I've got 60,000 here. These are just pure examples. And what we're going to be running is this code here called Simulate Bets V5. Yeah, and you will find that code over in the Alphaverse Discord. It's there. This is the code here, Simulate Bets V5. So you can just copy that over, put that in your client folder, change your package.json file to say point to this file where it's got dice bar. So when you go in your package.json where you've got specified what code to run for DiceBot, you just change it to the name of that file, provided it's in the client folder, and obviously making sure that you've changed your client config so that simulation mode is set to true, and it has to be lowercase. So if you did capital T, it's case sensitive, so just stick to lowercase. And we're going to do that on this one client. Let me just get that ready. Okay, I've partially hidden the screen because it's actually got real client details in it. I can't show it, but it relates to this test account Alphaverse 6, and I've changed the simulation mode to true. It's got a start balance of 100, simulated 100, and it's going to do 7,200,000 bets, and it's going to have a simulated recovery pot of 60,000. And this is running 18% win chance, added 22.3% on every loss as an example. And what I want to do is actually build up more codes. I had one that worked for Dragon Tower, so there's no reason why I can't do the dual code. And we could do pretty much any game, to be honest with you. So that's the easy thing to do. So you literally just go and change that to true, and it will pick up whatever balance that you've got defined in his simulated balance. But that's not the only change. You also need to make a change on a server. So if I open up the putty session for the server, and if I do a screen dash list, you see I've got the server running, which is what we're looking at now. So if I go into that server, it's that one client's running. So now I've written a command, sometimes doesn't always work, and it's restart API server. So I've built my own API server. Right, now on a screen dash list, I should have two screens. I've got one in the server, so we can our server. That is all working properly, and if we do API server, that's all running as well. And you can see it's got many workers. I won't go into that detail, but I've clustered it, and that will be covered later in the video. So technically this is all we need to do, because this API server does exactly what the casino does, and you're going to see that in a moment. We've started this API server and we've changed the client config to say simulated fund is true. Now technically, if that all went well, we should be able to, on the client, just kill all screen. Right, do that again. So we're going to kill all screen, and that should throw the server off. Now hopefully I could just run Alphaverse, and that should pick up the balance of 100 if all gone well. Right, apologies guys. I do actually like making mistakes online, because I think if I make mistakes, you're going to make the same mistakes. I forgot the obvious thing. I didn't change the package structure to tell it to use this new version of the simulate dice bot, and I hadn't copied it up into the client folder either. And actually, while I was here, because this is quite an old client, I did actually find my old Dragon Tower as well, so I've taken a copy of those as well. And I say Dragon Tower, I mean this simulated version of Dragon Tower. So right, apologies for that. So basically now we got this working. I imagine DiceBot is paused. Now it's picking up the balance from, I think, the code actually. But we should be able to bet, and we could see the betting, and look how fast it is. It's a little bit faster than stakes. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause this, and I'm going to stop it, because I wanted to show you something that's really important, guys. Really, really, really important. Yeah, the API server, basically, you know, I said in my Discord I wanted to create my own casino, and I create my own cryptocurrency, and I've already created my own casino because this API server does exactly what the casino does. So if we take, for example, it creates a random server seed, and it creates a random client seed, and it starts off at a random nonce position. But I've done all the maths. The way the API server works, it outputs the raw results, and it's from the raw results in the code that I can convert that into game events. And I want to show you that this will identically match through, and it is identical to the casino. So if you go over to Provably Fair, and you go into calculation, if I put all the details in, server seed, which I've done here. So game dice, server seed is here, the client seed is here, nonce position is there, and the result was 34.85, exactly matches mine. So if I've done mine right, so if I move up a bet, the next one should be 52.95. 52.95, then 48.86, 48.86. You can see it here. We can keep going down. 72.67. You get the drift. What I'm saying here is I've fully replicated the casino, and it's 100% Provably Fair, and it is identical to stake. Yeah, in fact, it doesn't matter and I wanted to emphasize that to you. So that's the code, and yeah, you can just basically rerun this code. and take it off pause because I want you to see the speed of betting. In fact, what I'll do, I'll bring in a second client as well, and I'll do exactly the same. Right, I've bought, another client. This is test client number 7. So I've changed the simulation mode to true. And this one I'm running a slightly different version. I'm going to be running Dragon Tower. So under the DiceBot, we're going to run simulate. So under this client here, under the package.json, we're going to be running Dragon Tower. Just double check that's correct. Under client, Dragon Tower bot simulator. So if we open that up, here's the code here. This bot, I believe, has a do bet function. It is do bet. We didn't call it analyze bet. And again, same things, your principles are applying here. This is just running on hard mode and in 104.2%, I believe. Yeah, 104.2% on each level, one egg. Run rows, same principles, so technically that should just run. I need to change, and like the other one, guys, I've put this also in Alphaverse Discord under Alphaverse code there's a simulator there, so if you want to test with these, I need to merge these together now to create the dual code, so I will work with that, or we could do it as a community thing. Let's see if this works. So if I open up a putty session to that one, okay, hopefully all going well. Yeah, I should technically be able to just run Alphaverse if I've done everything right, if I haven't made any mistakes. Probably have, but we'll see. I did. Okay, that was a bit of an anomaly, that one there, guys. So yeah, next on the other one as well. So if in the client config, if you started off with a bust balance, it doesn't seem to like it. So I changed the bust threshold to -1 simply because, I need to look at that. But anyway, that code is there. So in order to, you can't have a bust account. So rather than putting money across there, just change the client config so that where it's got bust threshold, just set that to -1, and that way it never be bust. So it's a bit of an anomaly, that one, but it did work. So it's not actually running. So this one is actually picking up from the client config. Again, look how fast it is, guys. And if I just pause it, I'm going to take that off screen and skip. If I just pause it for a second, likewise, we should be able to check. Provably fair. Do the top one. Do this one. Okay, I put the server seed, client seed, nonce position, server seed, client seed, nonce position, Dragon Tower, hard mode, and yeah, we must be betting on this position here. So the next one down, let's increase this slightly. So we lost the next two, which it did, and it did, and we won the next one, which it did. Guys, I know, you would not believe how difficult this was to do. You will not believe how difficult it was to implement not only my own API server, but to calculate the game events from the raw API outputs has been a very, very challenging thing to do. Right, let's run everything. So with this bottom one here is running Dragon Tower. This top one's running Dice with a ridiculous balance. Let's reset the profit, reset the timer, start the bot, obviously. There we're running. We're running really quick. Okay. Right, I'll leave this time lapsed. I'm going to give it an hour and I'll be back. Okay, gentlemen, that's the hour run. Hope you enjoyed that. Like, this is important because, especially all the new players coming on board, I want you to know that you can run Alphaverse in simulation mode. And there's probably loads of people that are using Alphaverse didn't even know you could do this. It is quite straightforward to do. And like I say, this is a community-driven thing. So I can develop code, and I'm going to put it all in Discord anyway, and I highly encourage that we act as a community, as a team, to work together to produce these scripts so we can thoroughly test them. Everybody's got great ideas. And look at the betting speed, guys. Look at the betting speed. 265,000 bets an hour. That's a bit better than the piffly 10,000 bets an hour you get on stake. I did tell them I could fix their issues, but they won't listen to me. They won't listen to me. You can end the video here if you want to, and if you got any questions on it, you can always, you know where to find me. You know where to find me. So if you have difficulty setting this up, just let me know. Let the community know. But I'd be keen for the rest of you guys to at least attempt simulation mode, and it's a really great way of testing ideas. So far I've worked out how to decipher Limbo, Dice and Dragon Tower from the raw API outputs. And I would like to eventually to be able to get all of the games, and one of the ones I really wanted was Blackjack. Blackjack was the one that I was like, yeah. In fact, I'm having to pay a developer to do that one because I can't do it myself. So if anybody can save me money and knows how to do that, I'll be all ears. Now, for those sticking around, I'm going to show you some of the back end here, how this was done, if you're interested, particularly around the coding. So I'm going to bring up Visual Studio. So the first bit I'm going to show you is in the index.js, which is under the client. You see here it's picking up, if it picks up from the config file, the simulation is true, then it lets simulation. So it basically it's a Boolean variable. So this will be then set to true. And as we go through the code, and you could say if it's not simulation, then it plays as normal. But if we scroll down, if it isn't and it is simulated, then it's going to pick up all the information that it needs, like the recovery threshold, the bus threshold and all those things as normal, and it's going to pick up here from the JSON config the simulate your start balance as well. Yeah, and then if we look at the dice bot itself, this is the simulated dice bot here. This generates random server seeds and client seeds, and it generates a random start nonce position. And we got a few more variables in here. This one is for Dragon Tower. Yeah, we do have to put a very tiny bet delay in it, because I found if I don't put a bet delay in it, even if it's only like 1 millisecond, it doesn't actually write to the dicebot state, so it doesn't update the statistics. And you'll see in here that the API server that it's talking to is not the casino anymore. This is very different to the normal code. It's now talking to the API server, which is picking up from the client config. So in the client config, picks it up from here, the API server. So this is where you put your host name of your server. You don't need to specify the port number. When you do master host, you put http : // and then the name of your server, then the port number. Yeah, and that's what's used to communicate throughout most of your code. But when it comes to the API server, you're just literally putting the API server, the host name. In mine one, it was Alpha Server Live 2, which is my test and dev server. And you saw that earlier in the configuration earlier, but you could see it's sending its API request to that particular server, and then it gets the return. It returns back the data. So right, guys, coding for Dragon Tower to get the raw events from the API outputs was one of the most difficult things I've had to do. I've done loads of difficult things on Alphaverse, and this was it's a mystery. It was a bloody mystery. I could not get it to recreate and match the provably fair on stake for a very long time. I followed everything on stake and they withhold information. I opened up a request for support to get help on the coding on with this, but they said that they couldn't tell me, they couldn't reveal to me how they calculate at the game event outcome from the raw API output. There was missing information. They used a thing called shuffle, and it really was complicated to work out. And I, for love nor money, could not get it to go for ages. In fact, I had to put all of that logic into the API server itself. And so when we look at the API server, the magic happens here. And because you've got multiple rounds in Dragon Tower, believe it, all that information is stored in one nonce position. It's not every level, every row is all stored in one nonce position in effect from the game output, and it uses the cursor to do each level, and it was quite tricky to work out. So I've got a version of that actually that I can run locally, and that probably shows it a little bit better. Yeah, I wrote a version of the Dragon Tower simulator to run locally on my machine using Node.js, and this was very, very efficient. And as I say, this does the job. I never made this publicly available either, so I will just completely make open source. I wasn't happy until I know, literally I just put in known client seed, known server seed, and a nonce position, because I was doing one bet, and I wanted to get all 9 rows to show that it fully matched stake and it was fully replicatable. And once we'd done that, and we could do that to any server seed and everything else, but I couldn't move forward with the code until I knew that I could definitely get one working. And then if I can get one, I can get 2, I can do 1,000, I could do 10 million. And it all started off here and using just Node.js locally on my machine here and deciphering in the way that the casino deciphers it. If I've got a more clear version. Here I go into much more detail so I can actually run it, and I've put in there all the payout mapping, and again this can run locally on my machine on Node.js. This is not designed to run in Alphaverse, and this runs super fast. I mean, I've got a pretty powerful computer, mind you, but here I can go multiple levels and try lots of different techniques on this one here. And I can get over 400,000 bets a second testing. So if you really want to test Dragon Tower to its limit, don't even need Alphaverse. You could just run it on Node.js. So again, these are projects that I would like to share with you guys. I want to put them on GitHub. I want to make them publicly available. I want everybody to be knowledgeable gamblers, and they can test ideas before they even attempt to put them in Alphaverse. The magic was all of this. This is undocumented stuff, and not even Stake would tell me how to do this. Here, the byte generator, it's using SHA-256 server seed. Nonce and the cursor position, and it does multiple rounds on the same nonce position in order to do all 9 rows. So to accurately recreate that was very, very, very difficult. And then I was able to translate all this information and put this into the API server. And then when I do my betting, I can simply determine, a win is if the payout is greater than 0. And so, from that, I can just do a do bet function and apply whatever I like. This code is pretty complete anyway, but this is just Dragon Tower standalone. There could be very different variances of this. And like I say, I do want this to be community driven, and I would like to see other people to come along to help me develop this. People come up with other ideas, and what I ideally would love to have is simulation for every single Originals game. And so I started tackling Blackjack. Blackjack is even more trickier than Dragon Tower. So that would be really, really nice to get that in there. So I'm going to start putting more stuff over here on Alphaverse in the Discord and the Alphaverse code section. If somebody can help me, like I said, I love this, what they've done over at Qbot. This thing here where they create these bots and they've got the community feedback. If somebody knows how to help me set this up on my Discord, I'd be very, very grateful. I think this is amazing. People come up with ideas. They post it, it gets critiqued, and all this, the way it's done is very, very good. And see here, like you pick the game, like dice, amazing stuff. I would love something like that in my Discord. So if anybody can help me with that, I'd be really grateful. Really, really grateful. Right. Listen, I don't have much more to say, guys. I mean, I hope you found that useful. You know, if you do, you know, let me know. Feedback is really, really critical, guys. So when I only get 100 views or so per video, that does, dishearten me. And the single most important thing that you can do for me is provide feedback. And if you like this video. And if you like it, share it with other people. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. You know, all important things, guys, you know, because it's all about that stupid bloody YouTube algorithm. Yeah, my numbers are a fraction of what they used to be. I would love it one day to be able to get back to where I was when I was getting 30,000 views a video. I was a happy man. You know, now I'm only getting 100 odd views a video. It makes me sad. And obviously you can see the amount of effort I put into this, guys. This is not a fly-by-night, you know, small piece of rubbish, whatever content. This has been methodically done over a long period of time, and I hope it's immensely useful for you. And if it is immensely useful to me, let me know. Like it, subscribe, and share it. Spread the word, guys. I need more people following me on YouTube, and I need as many of you as possible to like this video so that at least YouTube know to promote it. Anyway, I'm going to end the video there, and I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.